This may be the biggest story of our lives, and there's questions about historic moments in our lifetime that may be bigger. 9/11 being one of those moments. We were just talking about this before the show. And fair point, I understand. But this could be, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit hyperbolic, but this is a dramatic revolution. This is a dramatic change. Donald Trump is facing 136 years in prison. Let me say that one more time. Donald Trump is facing, after his arrest, his arraignment, 136 years in prison. Now, I can't imagine this going anywhere beyond where it's already gone because this is a ridiculous charge. What's happened? Even CNN has come out and said this is underwhelming. There's nothing new in these charges. It's exactly what everyone said it was going to be. It is Donald Trump paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. The statute of limitations is 2 years. It's been 7. There's nothing to escalate these charges to felonies except Bragg says this was done to conceal a different crime, which is going unnamed. So I consider this to be unprecedented. I think everyone does. We've never seen an arrest like this, but it's not just the arrest of a former president. It is the use of trumped up false charges in plain view of even CNN. They have become so extreme. So it has become so egregious that they are outright taking action that even CNN is like, what is this? So Donald Trump is going to be giving remarks in about 15 minutes, and we will pull up those comments, listen to what he has to say, and provide commentary as well. But we'll cover the breaking news first. However, before we do, today's episode is sponsored by Cast Brew Coffee. It's actually us. It's our own coffee brand. You can see, of course, there is a rooster as the mascot because we love Roberto Jr. He's the greatest. And you can pick up our signature blends, Rise with Roberto Jr., a light roast breakfast blend, or Appalachian Nights, a dark roast for those that like light or dark roast. And of course, we do have a medium roast option with our Colombian and French roast, which is a little on the medium to dark side. You know French roast. French roast is pretty dark. But we decided to sponsor ourselves and make our own company. So if you want to support our work, you can go to castbrew.com, pre-order, because we've just started production and they will ship by May 5th. Also, don't forget to go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member, and you'll get access to our Discord server where you can actually call into this show. If you've been a member for at least 6 months at $10 per month, you will get access to the VIP chat channel where you can submit questions and call into our uncensored after show, or you can sign up at $25 a month to jump the line. These gates are here to keep out extremists and activists and people who want to spy or cause problems. It's not perfect, but it's the best we could do. And at about 10 p.m., we'll have an after show tonight where we will take calls from you guys who are members. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends. Joining us tonight to talk about this historical moment is Lisa Reynolds.
Hey, thanks for having me. Happy to be back. I wish it was better circumstances, but here we are.
Yeah, here you are. Who are you? What do you do?
I guess I'm a political jack of all trades. I'm a former Hill staffer, political consultant, sometimes commentator. I used to write for Libs of TikTok, that thing.
All right, right on. Well, thanks for joining to talk about this.
Thanks for having me.
We also got Phil Labonte hanging out.
How you doing? Phil Labonte, lead singer of All That Remains, anti-communist and counter-revolutionary. My buddy.
Ian Crossland, what's happening? I'm going to roll the D100 on the off chance I get 100. Things are going to work themselves out peacefully.
It's rolling.
It's rolling right now.
It's going to be a 1. Oh, no, it's going towards 1.
I got a 1% chance of this working out. It's a 70.
Okay, it almost went to the 1, though. That was scary.
Yep. Well, I guess we're going to have to do something about it then.
70's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
put some effort in.
That's Ian for everybody. Introduction.
Yeah,
I'm
a crazy man. Welcome to my world. Hi, Serge.
Hey, what's up, Ian? I like being in your world. It's pretty chill,
Thanks,
man.
dog.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get rolling.
Let's jump into this first story. We've got this from Vanity Fair. Donald Trump is now facing, wait for it, 136 years in prison. Now, for those that are tuning into the live show, in about 10 minutes, Trump will be delivering remarks. We have that stream ready to go. I'm going to move it out of the way so we can monitor that and get ready for Donald Trump's statement. In the meantime, here's the story from Vanity Fair. Oh, and you know they're loving this. They write, as you've no doubt heard by now, Donald Trump was charged on Tuesday with an astonishing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Now, here's the thing. It's the same thing. They charged him 34 times for the same thing. As Maggie Haberman reported, Not only did the ex-president look very unhappy as he walked into the courtroom, but he appeared as angry as he did after the Access Hollywood tape went public in October 2016. Why might Trump not have cartwheeled into the courtroom with a huge grin on his face, snapping his fingers and blowing air kisses to the cameras? For one thing, Tuesday marked what was effectively the first time he'd ever been truly held accountable for anything in his life. For another, he's facing more than 100 years in prison, 34 Class E felonies, 136 years in prison, which is an incredibly huge number. Now, my question for this ridiculous article and for these people is, are they happy that a misdemeanor bookkeeping error is going to result in 2 life terms? They don't care. CNN ran a poll and they asked, do you believe this was politically motivated? Almost everyone said yes. Like 80% said yes. They said, do you think it's a good thing? And they said yes.
They don't care.
Democrats, mostly Democrats, said it was good. That for political reasons.
2/3.
2/3.
2/3 of of respondents, because I don't know the details of the poll, but 2/3 of the respondents to that poll are believe something that is antithetical to all liberal principles. It is wrong to use the government to go after your political opponents because they are your political opponents, right? That is straight up stuff that happens in banana republics. And the reason that these countries are banana republics is because of the organization of their government. They are illiberal. They try to do things like give everything to everybody.
Well, hold on.
But they believe.
I got to interrupt you.
Okay.
Banana Republic, you know where it comes from, right?
Go ahead.
It comes from when, what was it, Nicaragua, I think it was? Or which country?
I don't know
The United States.
but Dole went
Because
there
of
for-
the Dole,
Right.
Yeah,
It's the U.S.'s corporate intervention.
Yeah.
But I'm being a bit pedantic.
Yeah, we understand. Usually, it is,
Honduras and Costa Rica.
Yeah,
There you go, Honduras and Costa Rica.
Usually, they are because they have illiberal policies, and even the type of corporate and government collusion that is also illiberal. But point taken. Yes, to call them banana republics.
But
is
when they
probably
think he's
inaccurate.
literally Hitler, they've been
It's-
told
it's-
over and over again, you would do absolutely anything to destroy literally Hitler,
Exactly.
and that's what they think he is. So they're fine with it. It doesn't matter what our Constitution says. It doesn't matter what our justice system looks like. It doesn't matter if it has negative consequences for even people on their side going forward.
It doesn't.
Do you guys think, we talked about this a moment ago before the show started, but I want to ask now for everybody listening, do you think this is the biggest story of our generation?
It's
100%.
possible.
9/11. We might be I think I'm in a generation different, slight from you. Like I was the end of X, you're the beginning of the next one. So for
No,
me,
I'm
it was
older than all of
9/11.
you.
9/11 because it was sending. We still didn't know. It was like 3 years that we didn't understand 9/11, which was made it much worse. This at least we have light on it right now.
9/11 was catastrophic, but it brought the country more together. This is, for our generation, something that is the most divisive in our country
There's
ever.
an argument to be made that 9/11 is what set all of this in motion. So 9/11, the United States, the response the United States has to 9/11, where the U.S. really clamps down on data and information and stuff like that and spying and really violates the Constitution. I think that there's an argument to be made that 9/11 changed America so much that made this moment possible. But at the same time, it is reasonable to say that the clear political attack on the president by putting your political opponent in jail, that is a watershed moment. That is without question, if it's not the most impactful, and I think it remains to be seen whether or not it will be. If it's not, it's definitely among the top 2 or 3.
Would you say? Oh, sorry. Would you say that it's coordinated? Like Bragg is like coordinating with we were talking about this earlier in like a Twitter space or whatever. But do you think it's coordinated? Like Bragg is working with the Democrat Party, or he's just like a rogue actor doing it just for himself because that's what he ran on and he wants to make a name for himself by.
The vibe I get is that it's coordinated or at least planned, or that it's because I was rewatching the debates between Hillary and Donald again. Like I watched it a little before, and there's a whole thing of she's talking, glad you're not in charge of the law, and he's like, because you'd be in jail. Ha ha ha. Then another segment, they're debating, and Donald's like, I didn't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. When I get into power, I'm gonna have a special prosecutor look into your emails. Like he was totally telling her on stage, I'm gonna go after you and investigate you when I become president. So like he opened the gates to this.
Well, he didn't do it though.
He did. He didn't do it.
And we should now. I mean, there should be.
He should have done it.
He should have.
He should have. 100%.
I don't know. I think the precedent's bad. Whoever does it, to
He should have
whoever,
because
but-
he should have done it as an attack on the bureaucracy. It's
Yep.
not because the Secretary of State is a bureaucratic position, right? So Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. That's when she amassed the story goes that that's when she amassed.
He chickened out.
Yeah, he did.
He got
should have
in,
attacked the
and then
bureaucracy.
he's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And then behind closed doors, they were sitting there saying to themselves, we have to crush him.
Yep.
In any way possible.
Yeah, he humiliated her so hard on the
They
stage.
tweeted that, what was it, the day he got inaugurated, they were going to impeach him.
100%.
The lawyer who was involved in the first impeachment tweeted at him, we will impeach you.
Yep.
They had been working nonstop to make up a reason to go after him. And now that he's running again, and they know he's doing well in the polls, this is what they do, 136 years in prison.
I think they would have done this regardless of how he was doing in the polls, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think that this is punishment. I think that this is punishment from the establishment to, punishing Donald Trump and, the January 6th. There's the same thing. The reason that they, sat in jail for trespassing charges, unprecedented treatment for trespassing and the like, is because of it is the government punishing people that would challenge their authority, even if you would ostensibly use your own, use things that are, actions that are protected by the Constitution.
To get people used to that type of behavior and persecution and to scare them. Like, so, everybody was saying, don't go out and protest. It's a trap, feds, all that kind of thing. Well, that's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to scare you and think that it was feds and that you needed to stay home and that if you did go out, it was going to go crazy and you were going to be arrested. And so effectively, they got what they wanted either way. Either you stay home and you don't do anything and you're safe, or you go out and you know that the government's going to be weaponized against you. And everybody, especially on the left, is okay with that.
Yeah.
These are all political litmus tests or population litmus tests to see how much the people will put up with.
Well, so I asked Charlie Kirk this the other day. I'll ask you, Lisa, do you think Trump gets convicted?
Yes. I'll tell you why. I mean, absolutely. We have this, first of all, the judge needs to recuse himself because of his daughter. But even if he doesn't, right?
Why because of his daughter?
His daughter is working for Kamala Harris. The judge's daughter is working with Kamala Harris. So he needs to recuse himself, clearly. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's what needs to be done. But I've actually been on trial. And my judge, like I was in for a trade secrets case, and my judge specifically said, because you hyperlinked where the information was publicly available, you're not allowed, and instead of like showing them screenshots of the actual websites, you're not allowed to tell the jury that at all. I'm like, well, it's a trade secrets case, and if it's public and I can show that it's public on the internet, then how can I not present that to the jury? He didn't like my attorney, but I mean, we still won, but like I was not allowed to tell the jury that all this information was publicly available on websites. These, for motions in limine, which is what the jury's allowed to see, the judge can rule on almost anything not being presented to the jury as like bias or whatever they want.
Yes, but let me add, you could literally show the jury a video recording of Michael Cohen smoking a cigar being like, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to falsely accuse Trump and get him locked up.
That's
and
the
then
second part.
And the jury is going to be like, yeah, I don't care. Trump goes to prison.
Agreed. So that was the second part. So even if you have one, righty on the jury pool, you have a judge that's already likely going to bias the information that he gives the jury, and then look where you're pulling from. So I know that they're trying to get it, the case transferred to Staten Island or something like that. They're going to put a motion in for that, a motion to dismiss. But we both know that this judge isn't going to approve any of that.
I have a desperate plea to the deep state and the shadow government listening. You guys, this is too much like Nazi Germany. The people screaming out about the communist liberal Democrats, just like the Nazis were screaming out about the communist liberal Democrats. People screaming out about the fake news. Like Goebbels was screaming out about the fake news. And then when they put Hitler in jail is when he became very radicalized. And you do not want to do that to someone that 40 million people are following right now.
Right now, there's like 3 deep state guys, and one guy sitting there, and a single tear goes on his cheek, and he's like, He's right, you guys. We got to call this off.
No,
It's not going to happen.
no way.
bro.
I mean, it's a noble statement to make, but this is exactly what they want, and there are people that, given the opportunity, will put Donald Trump away for the rest of his life. There is no question.
But I do got to
No
say,
question.
part of me is imagining this future where like it's 300 years and there's like a space station. And this teacher has got a bunch of little future kids, and she's walking up to a giant statue of Ian in the space colony orbital ship. And she's like, before the start of the Second Civil War, one person fought to keep this country united. And it was only after years of fighting did he finally reunite the country and save Earth.
Thank
Just
you.
like a big,
And
he's
that
a
was
big
Ian.
Ian wearing a
That was
purple
Ian.
blazer. Look at his face. He's like, oh God.
I've been having visions. Put me in touch with the shadow government. There's a deep state that is like the administrative state, but then there's this is according to Alex Jones. I asked him the difference between the deep state and the shadow government. He said the shadow government's like a government that has its own military, its own everything existing beyond all countries that is there just in case there's a nuclear war. They'll keep continuity of government.
Yeah, it's called
Those
the
are the
Enclave,
people I'm
bro.
talking to. Yeah, the Enclave. I want to get in touch with you guys, help you build Space Force, defend against drone swarms, make world peace for real.
We believe you. You look very sincere.
So
We
there's
can repurpose the military-industrial complex to start building drone. We need to focus on drones and not blowing up humans. Sorry, Tim, what were you saying?
I was saying, it's National Security Presidential Directive 51, I believe it was. The division games are based on this. That in the event of a catastrophic loss of human life or economic damage, the president can create a new government replacing the U.S. government. That's something that George W. Bush created. And it's never been tested, but it can never be tested. In the event that some catastrophic moment happens, maybe the dollar collapses or something, the economy, we're in a Great Depression, they'll just do it and no one will be able to challenge them. It's just it.
I imagine they're underground because it's for nuclear. Well, Alex said it was for nuclear war. If, like the surface gets totaled, it's supposed to keep humanity going.
Well, not humanity, the government.
Yep.
U.S. government. Yeah.
It's
And,
not-
and
it's-
henceforth, humanity,
They don't
because it's
care
the
about us.
utilitarian view
Yeah,
of
I mean, it is humanity
Order-
is secondary.
order will continue, I should say.
the humanity is the fact that humanity continues is a byproduct of the government continuing. They want the government to continue. They need people, so that if they could have AI do it and like only a couple people, they would be fine with that.
I don't know if I brought this up on the show. I think we truly could repurpose our military-industrial complex, Boeing, Lockheed.
Who's we?
The people that run Lockheed. We could be like, okay, instead of building,
They don't want to
missiles to kill
Their
humans.
lives are better their lives are better building.
but
missiles
think
to
about the
kill
drone
humans.
swarms that are coming, because we could start building drones and then take them out into space, arm them with like laser sensors, so they don't have weapons. They can just tag us with lasers and put onboard AI on these drones. They can swarm our pilots or our drones and tell us what we're doing wrong and how to get better at fighting drone swarms.
Who decides what's wrong?
Real quick.
The AI will give us the algorithm.
I want to give a shout out to RSBN. I'm not going to use CNN or Fox News or any of these other news sources for the coverage of Donald Trump's speech. We're going to be using Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Nice.
Yeah, because they're better. And I would just say you guys should consider supporting them for their coverage of what's going on. I wouldn't say that for any other news source that we cited for commentary or anything like that, but I like RSBN. And I am grateful that they're there on the ground to capture Donald Trump giving the speech, and then we can provide commentary to you guys. So special shout out. I don't know anybody over there, but they do good work. So we're just going to be watching their stream on Rumble. And then when Trump does arrive, which should be any moment now, we'll play his remarks.
He's always
and then-
late though.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're chilling. We're hanging out for now, and wondering whether or not the deep state will hear the pleas of Ian.
They hear it. You guys hear me. I think we can regrow the coral reefs with microfragmentation. We can regrow the fish population by introducing iron dust into the ocean and fertilizing the plankton. We can pull the carbon out of the air and start a reindustrialization of graphene. All the tools are within our reach, but we need organization. We need to calm people down.
He's doing all that, and I'm just trying to keep my kids off TikTok, and not be
And we can free the
sexualized,
source
you know what I mean?
of TikTok.
So I also want to mention, as we're waiting, maybe we'll get into this after Trump's speech, but the U.S. dollar is trending, and Saudi Arabia is working deals to restructure its trade agreements. Brazil and China are going to be trading in yuan. I mean, the U.S. dollar may be about to collapse.
I think it's going to.
Gold is skyrocketing. What's gold currently at?
I don't know. But
maybe skyrocketing is the wrong way to describe it.
Wasn't like Doge just going up?
Yesterday went up 25%.
Yeah, I was
that was
like,
because
wait a
of
minute.
Elon, though. Elon was screwing. That's
That was
because
some
of
market manipulation,
Elon. That's
to
because
say
he
the
put the
least.
Doge symbol
Yeah, I
right
saw
up there.
that.
That's
I saw
it.
that.
It was great. It's a good time.
Yeah, gold and silver are up.
I
Check
mean,
the
look,
gold
it now.
price.
This is probably the most significant.
2031. Silver's at 25. Wow.
This is the most significant development regarding the currency probably in my lifetime. And it's possible that the value of the dollar significantly goes down. Yeah, it's possible that the value of most of the world's fiat currencies go down. You look at the value of one, like yuan, compared to the value of $1. There's not any reason to believe that the value of the dollar couldn't be halved. That means half of whatever money you have in the bank can get half of what you can get now. It's like
And people don't realize this because labor is one of the biggest costs of any business. And so labor costs are not going to be the same as the cost of a carton of eggs. Meaning, running a business, you will have employees who are like, hey, I need more money. You're thinking about how much money can I give to a person in exchange for labor or a service? That won't go up as fast. It will go up though. But what's going to happen is the cost of the hard raw material and the food products become harder and harder to source as labor costs increase. Every step of the way, there's an increase in the cost because of the profit needs of each industry, or I should say the basic income requirements. So first, you got to hire a guy to pick the strawberries or whatever. Then you got to hire a guy to package the strawberries. And because each of those person needs a little bit more money, that's what's going to lead to this hyperinflation runaway train.
We have some action going on here. I don't know what's going on, but
here comes Eric Trump and Laura Trump, followed up by Stephen Miller, followed up by Dan Scavino.
That's Jason Miller.
I would imagine that
They just call Jason Steven.
we are now getting into a very intimate time where the president might walk out. But going back to censorship, so we're
All right, we'll just keep it on standby until Trump arrives. But it looks like he may be here any second now.
Yep.
Is he coming in? They're zooming in. Don't know just yet. But we'll once Trump's remarks start. I'm not trying to piggyback off RSBN's commentary, but I want to give them a shout out and hope that y'all guys consider supporting them. Typically if we're doing like a commentary stuff, we'll pull up like CNN or whatever, and it's like, thanks for the news pool, but I don't like you. RSBN I like, so
makes sense.
Shout out.
Do you think that our dollar would be in jeopardy if Trump was the president rather than Biden?
No.
I don't either.
Yeah, definitely not. It would be stronger.
And I don't understand why the left doesn't get that, or maybe they just don't want to understand.
The left doesn't care.
Yeah,
They really don't.
It's short-term gain. It's emotional satisfaction. There's no logic. There's no structure. These are people that would burn down their own houses to own the cons.
I always say, like, Trump derangement syndrome, like saying that is cringe, but it's legit real. Like it does exist.
You're
These
right, but
people
you're 100% right. There is a lot of people with Trump derangement syndrome. There are a lot of people that are just like, oh, Trump deserves all this.
I think he's walking in.
He's coming
Trump's
in.
coming in.
People lifting their cameras, so
President Donald
Yeah.
there we go.
J. Trump.
It's so bad for him.
Let's. I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, that music's not good.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Bring that up volume up there, and I'll turn it down here in my hand.
No, I'll just because I want to get it as soon as Trump starts speaking.
There are some people that are ideologically motivated that really want to see the living standard of the United States to go down, because the living standard of other countries and the people in other countries needs to go up, and you can't have
Trump's
the U.S.
looking-
with such a high living standard in the rest of the
Trump's
world
looking
the other
good.
way.
Yeah,
Have you seen the pic? I saw the picture of him when he was going in and waving. His belly's gone way down.
Oh, he's definitely like working out or doing something. For
Yeah,
sure. Maybe
good
he's
for
on that
him.
Ozempic stuff. I don't know.
Ozempic. He's thinned up a bit.
Did you see that Lloyd Dreyfus is joining the global grain merchants exodus from Russia? And like they'll stop exporting Russian grain from like July 1, which will
No one's doing any of that.
it's going to increase global food costs and suffering. It's true though. It's Reuters put it out.
So it's Reuters.
Okay.
What was the what was
Yo,
the-
people who live in cities are going to regret it very soon.
I think so,
Well,
too.
hold on. If they don't already.
I
After
do.
the-
I
after the
regret
summer
it.
of love.
If it wasn't for my kids' school, I would never be in a city. I'd be
Why
right
would you
down
want
here
your
with
kids to go to those schools?
They don't go to that kind of school. They go to a Christian classical school. Listen, it's
I still
very,
don't trust them.
No. It's very regimented. Like when the pandemic and all hit, they were like, absolutely not. We don't believe in masks. They sent letters home saying, do not pay attention to what they say on television. They're only meant to scare you. We didn't have to mask up.
Nice.
I'm telling you, it's so different.
I think you should still consider getting away from.
Oh, I
the
definitely.
city.
Yeah, I'm going to come down here with you, Tim.
Yeah, well, come down. We're getting everybody away from the city because West Virginia's best Virginia, and people here are based.
True.
The air is
Best
clean.
Virginia.
Oh, the air is clean.
West Virginia is actually ranked number one for Republican, friendliness towards Republicans in all of the states.
It's my country. Second most Trump supporting state.
Yep.
So it's not just conservative. It's a lot of regular people who don't really care about politics, but care enough to know how bad it is. You have in these cities people who quote unquote care about politics, but only insofar as they're told to, and they just march in lockstep with the zombie horde.
So
Yeah,
true.
they talk a lot about
All right.
it, but don't really exercise their rights that much. I've noticed that living in the city for 20 years.
Here's Trump. There we go.
Obligatory.
Yeah.
He's gonna let it go.
Thank you very much, everybody. We have to save our country. God bless you all. God bless you all. And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. From the beginning, the Democrats spied on my campaign. Remember that?
We're all nodding.
They
You
attacked
can see
me
our little heads.
with an onslaught of fraudulent investigations. Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax number 1. Impeachment hoax number 2. The illegal and unconstitutional raid on Mar-a-Lago, right here. They're lying to the FISA courts, the FBI and DOJ relentlessly pursuing Republicans, the unconstitutional changes to election laws by not getting approvals from state legislators, the millions of votes illegally stuffed into ballot boxes and all caught on government cameras.
Obligatory. We here at Timcast disagree with Trump's claims on the election, but we'll let him continue.
In order not to say anything bad about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell,
Oh, yeah.
which exposes the Biden family as criminals and which, according to the pollsters, would have made a 17-point difference in the election result. And we needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9. It would have been in our favor, not my favor, our favor, because our country is going to hell. And we remember the 51 intelligence agents who said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. It didn't exist. It was Russian disinformation. Remember that? And that was all confirmed strongly by the FBI when they all knew that it wasn't Russian disinformation. And so much more. Our elections were like those of a third world country. And now this massive election interference at a scale never seen before in our country, beginning with the radical left, George Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg of New York, who campaigned on the fact that he would get President Trump. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. This is a guy campaigning. He wanted to get President Trump at any cost, and this before he knew anything about me, didn't know a thing about me. He was campaigning. As it turns out, virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats, say there is no crime.
He's right.
That it should never have been brought. Never have been brought. Everybody. Sure. Even people that aren't big fans have said it. They said this is not the right thing to do. It's an insult to our country, as the world is already laughing at us for so many other reasons, like our open borders, our incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan, where we left behind American citizens, $85 billion worth of the best military equipment in the world, lost 13 magnificent young lives, and far too many to mention that are so badly hurt with the loss of arms and legs and facial obliteration. The most embarrassing time in our country's history, in my opinion. Then our give up on energy independence and even energy dominance. We're going to be dominant within 6 months, more than any other nation, ×2. We had this all just 3 years ago. Our raging crime statistics, if you look in Democrat-run cities, numbers the likes of which we have never seen before.
Yo, Trump crushed.
The open
Trump
threats by
crashed
various
Rumble.
countries
What?
That looks like
of the
Yeah.
use
bad
of
gateway.
nuclear weapons.
Bad gateway.
So
Something never mentioned or discussed.
we're
by
connected
outside
already, but
nations
I'm
during
trying
the
to
Trump administration,
open another one. I
which
can't. People are.
could
I'm seeing
very
on Twitter
well
people are
lead
saying that
under
Trump has overloaded
the Biden
Rumble.com.
administration's
Good for Rumble, by the
leadership
way.
Yeah.
to an all-out nuclear World War III can happen. God. We're not very far away from it, believe it or not. An economy that has been crippled by the biggest inflation we have seen in more than 60 years, and a military that I used to defeat ISIS in 4 weeks. They said it would take 4 years. 4 weeks. To kill al-Baghdadi and Soleimani.
Wow.
That has now gone woke at the top levels by trying to indoctrinate everyone down to the lowest ranking patriot. But now they have really stepped up their efforts by indicting the 45th president of the United States, who received
And the Republican frontrunner.
Yep.
75 million votes, which is more than any sitting president in the history of our country. And in the wings, they've got a local racist Democrat district attorney in Atlanta who is doing everything in her power to indict me over an absolutely perfect phone call, even more perfect than the one I made with the president of Ukraine. Remember, I kept saying, that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect.
I wish he knew what perfect means.
Nobody said, sir, you shouldn't say that. Many people on the phone were hung up in disgust because of something I inappropriately said, because nothing was said wrong. In fact, at the end of the call, we agreed to continue our conversation about election fraud, and election fraud specifically in Georgia at a later time. Many people on the phone, including lots of lawyers, nobody found anything wrong with that perfect call until a book promotion tour many months later. All of a sudden they say, you know, I remember Trump making a call. Let's look at that.
I've had so many
This fake
debates
case
lately
was
over that
brought
call.
only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election, and it should be dropped immediately. Immediately.
Hands down. What they accuse Trump of doing, they're literally doing right now in front of us.
Then you have a radical left lunatic known as a bomb thrower who is harassing hundreds of my people day after day over the boxes hoax. You know, the boxes hoax, as we call it. Just so everyone knows, I come under what's known as the Presidential Records Act, which was designed and approved by Congress long ago just for this reason. Under the Act, I'm supposed to negotiate with NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, which as of this date is a radical left troublemaking organization that red flags the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights as dangerous and triggering. Can you imagine? This is what we have to deal with. But there is no criminality under the Presidential Records Act. That is not what it's all about. We were negotiating in very good faith, proper way, in order to return some or all of the documents that I openly and in very plain sight brought with me to Mar-a-Lago from our beautiful White House, just as virtually every other president has done in the past. When FBI and DOJ officials with NARA were here, I told my lawyer to show them the very secure storage room in which they were locked. The FBI's sole request in writing was, could you please put another lock on the door? We immediately complied.
Brevity is not his gift.
It's a lot different than the Biden situation, isn't it? The next thing I know, we were raided by many gun-toting FBI agents who took whatever they wanted, including my passports and medical records.
Just the fact
Everybody
that
was
all
in
that stuff
shock.
happened.
Nobody had ever heard of
crazy.
such a
It's
raid before.
mind-blowing.
Can't even believe it. Who would think that that could happen today? I immediately
It's almost
thought
so
of
much
the
you
Fourth
start
Amendment
forgetting
that
some of them.
protects
It is.
against
That's the point. That's why they
unreasonable
slow roll
search and
it.
seizure.
Next up will be the
But they
DC
did it
indictment.
anyway because our justice
What he's talking
system
about right now.
has become lawless. They're using it now, in addition to everything else, to win elections. Apparently, they're not looking at me through the view of the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. They came up with a new one. This is a new one. And they're looking at me through the Espionage Act. Think of that. How does that sound? Of 1917, where the penalty is death. Even though that has absolutely nothing to do with openly taking boxes of documents and mostly clothing and other things to my home, which President Obama has done, the Bushes have done, Jimmy Carter's done, Ronald Reagan has done.
There are at least a handful of people that
Everybody's
would push for the death
done.
penalty.
In fact,
too.
Hillary Clinton got rid of
Yeah, at least a couple.
33,000
Waiting for that.
emails. And that was okay. But nobody's done it like Joe Biden. This lunatic special prosecutor named Jack Smith, I wonder what it was prior to a change, who others of his ilk say he is even worse than they are, is only looking at Trump, yet Joe Biden took massive amounts more documents, even removed many boxes to Chinatown. You believe that? Just got $10 million from China. Where did that come from? I guess they were banking on Hunter's expertise and had others stored in unsecured offices in Pennsylvania and strewn all over his garage floor where his now very famous Corvette is also stored. All over the floor, including classified documents. But that's okay. Perhaps most importantly, he has 1,850 boxes in Delaware, which he is refusing to give up. But isn't that real obstruction? That's obstruction. As president, I have the right to declassify documents, and the process is automatic. If I take them with me, it's automatic, declassify. Biden was vice president. He had absolutely no right to declassify as vice president. He doesn't come under the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. He comes under the very criminal Federal Records Act, unfortunately for him, but it's not going to matter because they don't follow the law, which has very severe penalties. He had classified documents that he took while he was a senator, which is absolutely inexcusable, and other senators, including Democrats, are outraged. But he's not being harassed and hounded like the people who work for me are. In fact, they seem to have forgotten about his documents entirely. So many, thousands and thousands, it's okay with him. They like to say that I'm obstructing, which I'm not, because I was working with NARA very nicely until the raid on my home. But Biden is obstructing by making it impossible to get the 1,850 boxes or explain why many documents were located in Chinatown. Can't explain it. Why were they in Chinatown? I don't know.
We're going to switch to this one here, assuming it's working.
Never ran for office. I will get him. Her name is Letitia James.
Donald Trump's official rumble.
And she proclaimed while campaigning, quote, I look forward to going into the office of the Attorney General every single day, suing him, and then going home. Just before she knew me. She announced, what is fueling my soul right now is Trump. and that she had her eyes on Trump Tower. Those eyes are focused on Trump Tower. Didn't know the young lady. She even assured her supporters in an election promise that we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally. And then she claimed that I was an illegitimate president. Think of that. With all we did on energy, with all we did on the military, on taxes, biggest tax cuts in history.
Nuke the swamp.
Biggest regulation cuts in history. Right to try. People able to get drugs now that aren't approved. Hopefully you don't have that problem. Letitia James vowed to use every area of the law to, quote, investigate President Trump and his business transactions. Those transactions are going to be investigated, she said. And that of her family and his family. Because we're going after his family, and we're going after them hard. This is all before entering office and all before knowing anything at all about me. But she was going to get me. This is why, along with unrelenting crime, so many people and companies are leaving New York. She said that I falsified my financial statements, but in fact we're proving and will prove that my financial statements were substantially more than we submitted, not less. And in all cases have a strong disclaimer clause in them which tells the institutions that may look at that if they want to, not to rely on the statement. But they've got a problem with their case because, number one, I'm very underleveraged. They can't believe it, all the stuff they read and gave, and have very little debt relative to the value of assets. And importantly, not one bank has lost even $1. She was investigating me to save banks. They have very good lawyers. But they didn't lose $1 with us during this period of time. In fact, the banks we're talking about made almost $200 million off Donald Trump, and they liked me very much. We never missed a payment, never got a default notice, had a great relationship with all of them. I don't need banks. They have a lot of cash. I built a great business with my family, built a fantastic business. I have a son here who's done a great job, and I have another son here who's done a great job. Tiffany. And Ivanka and Barron will be great someday. He's tall. He is tall, and he's smart. But I have a great family, and they've done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it very much. They've gone through hell. So she's suing me over banks that weren't defrauded when she should be focused on violent crime that's driving people out of the state. This is a persecution, not an investigation. She's put our family through hell. It's cost hundreds of millions of dollars to defend. But our heads are held very, very high. They want to settle the case, but I want no part of that. Okay. So here we are now. It's where we were today, in a city that was so great just 4 or 5 years ago. But now we're there. Spent time there today, as you possibly read, with a local failed district attorney charging a former president of the United States for the first time in history on a basis that every single pundit and legal analyst said, there is no case. There's no case. They kept saying, there's no case.
But that doesn't matter.
Virtually everyone. But it's far worse than that, because he knew there was no case. That's why last week he delayed for a month and then immediately took that back and threw this ridiculous indictment together. Came out today, everybody said, this is not really an indictment, there's nothing here. My lawyers came to me and they said, there's nothing here, they're not even saying what you did. The criminal is the district attorney because he illegally leaked massive amounts of grand jury information, for which he should be prosecuted, or at a minimum, he should resign. And Alvin Bragg's wife confirmed a report that claimed her husband has Trump nailed on felonies. She has since locked down her Twitter account.
We need some popcorn up
His
here.
chief prosecutor, who represented the Democrats and crooked Hillary Clinton and a firm run by Chuck Schumer's brother, Robert, he quit the firm in order to go to work in the DA office in order to get Trump. Can you imagine that? Hillary Clinton's lawyer, Democrat lawyer, Democrat firm. Ultimately, he quit as chief prosecutor because Bragg didn't think he had a case. Think of that same guy that brought this ridiculous thing today. Yet during his investigation, this prosecutor named Mark Pomerantz wrote and published a book saying all sorts of privileged things and has been very strongly reprimanded. He was reprimanded so strongly. I've never seen anything like it. That's probably the end of it. But what he did was probably very illegal, but he was very, very strongly reprimanded. Even District Attorney Bragg was furious with him. They were having a tremendous fight in the office because of it. But hope is never lost because various prosecutors in the DA's office also quit because they thought President Trump was being treated very unfairly. How about that? Isn't that great? Oh, I love them. I'd like to meet them. I'd like to meet them. The DA's office even had a web page. Meet the team of executives who have done this to President Trump. That was the title. Isn't that nice? They immediately had to take it down. Meanwhile, overall crime in New York was up 30% last year. Much more than that the year before, with felony assaults, robberies, and burglaries all up by massive, massive numbers. Not the same place that I know, not the same place that you know. And this is where we are right now. I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and family whose daughter worked for Kamala Harris and now receives money from the Biden-Harris campaign, and a lot of it. Yep. We recently had another trial, and the same judge told the fine man who worked for me for many, many years,
you're actually eating a Lunchable,
that if you admit your guilt,
well, they had at the gas station.
You will be in jail for 90 days. But if you don't,
yeah, you're serious. Wow.
If we go through a trial and you're found guilty, you're going away for 10 years and maybe longer.
Imagine the seed oils.
Which for a 75-year-old man with a great family really means life. What the prosecutors and judge did to that man, I will never forget, because it's right out of the old Soviet Union. That's where we are. They said, you say anything about Trump, meaning that's bad, and you won't even have to serve the 90 days. You'll walk free. And they say that to many of my employees. We have this Jack Smith lunatic threatening people every single day through his representatives. They're threatening jail terms. But talk about Trump and you'll go free. This is where we are as a nation. Who would have thought? They can't beat us at the ballot box, so they try and beat us through the law. That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Russia has joined with China. Can you believe that? Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Would have never happened if I were your president. Would never have happened. Nor would Russia attacking Ukraine have happened. All of those lives would be saved. All of those beautiful cities would be standing. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. that will take us away from being even a great power. If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. Incredibly, we are now a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. We can't let that happen.
We don't really have a choice. What's happening?
With all of this being said, and with a very dark cloud over our beloved country, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again. Thank you very much. And God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Phil has been replaced by a post-it note reading, "Trump is right about all of this."
By accurate.
All right, we'll wrap up Trump's rumble there. Yeah, man, he's right about everything. Someone super chatted that Putin just became the president of the UN Security Council. Yeah, that was the other day. Russia will be leading the UN Security Council this month. So there it is, man.
The country just invaded its neighbor, and it's leading. And I know that people are going to have opinions on whether or not it was justified or whatever. But leading the UN Security Council, and they are a belligerent in a war that could possibly lead to total nuclear war, global nuclear war, a thermonuclear exchange between, and they're leading the Security Council. I feel secure. I decided. I feel secure.
That was the council's purpose. They did their job. What did they vote him in? It says here Ukraine was urging members to block, but I mean, honestly, the council probably is more secure with having at least United States, Russia, or China at the head at the moment. The council itself. I don't know if the world's more secure, but the council, the UN is more secure as an organization with a powerhouse at the head.
Let's elaborate on something that Donald Trump was talking about. We got the story from Forbes from a couple days ago. Who wants to read that headline?
Could the U.S. dollar collapse?
Donald Trump was talking about this in his speech as they are throwing everything at him to destroy him. Possibly the only person who can salvage the United States economy and world standing, Donald Trump, they are trying to stop. And if you look at how the Bidens are handling business dealings, it makes a lot of sense. If I had a bunch of money invested in China, I do not want the U.S. to win, right? A bet on China is a bet on China. If Donald Trump gets in office and the U.S. becomes great again and the dollar becomes stronger and the economy improves, all of those foreign investments take a hit. The incentive of these people, if they're investing in China, is to see the United States falter.
But there are opportunities for the U.S.'s improvement to actually improve China and vice versa. That's where the value of trade. It's very odd.
But at this point, what are we going to do about it? Like, that's what he said. He's like, we need to stop this. How? There's no mechanism for us to stop any of this.
What particularly? Stop what particularly?
Like any of this from happening. Like him, them stopping him being indicted.
I feel like it's dominoes falling over.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
That's it. It's a runaway train. I don't know.
It's like
I don't know what to
inertia.
do.
Yeah, there's an inertia in motion right now, but that's only going to continue if no force is acted upon it. So we can change the momentum.
Who's we and how?
Every human that has a camera on the internet can alter the fate of humanity now.
But I mean, that's
Ian,
a very
I think,
big statement with not a whole lot of substance. I'm not sure what.
And when half the people think Trump should be in prison, I don't see how what you're encouraging does anything.
I feel that's sad because it does do stuff. But if you guys don't see it, I mean, I can't make
No,
you see
I
it.
can see how like a large if everybody with cameras did their thing. But you have to remember that most people, like the majority of people, aren't even paying attention to this right now, right? Like my friends who are taking their 3 kids to school every day, they're not watching this. They barely know what's going on. All they know is that he paid a hooker and it's illegal. Like that's literally all they know. And so they don't care. They don't care. And the media, for the 5 minutes that they tune in right before dinner, is only going to tell them one side of the story. And our message is really never getting out unless it's to people who are heavily invested in politics, which isn't a ton of people.
It's not.
Stormy Daniels is a hooker, isn't she?
I mean
technically.
I got in trouble on that on Twitter. I got suspended for 2 weeks on Twitter for calling her and Izzy Azalea the word that starts with a W and ends with an E. So I'm going to be.
But I mean that as like a scientific and academic term.
No, actually,
she is a woman who is paid to have sex with men.
Correct. She sells her body for money.
No.
And she's very proud. The
Trump,
things that she was
Trump got it for
today,
free. Is that what happened? Is that why?
Apparently he was flirting with her at a golf game.
I think it was had something to do with the art of the deal, and
he talked her down to a freebie. Let me try it before I buy it. Otherwise, I might want to return it. Ugh. And she was just like, all right, you get one freebie. And then he was like, don't tell anybody. Here's
Listen,
money.
I think those type of women are gross anyway. But she is extra gross. She was today. She was talking on her Twitter about people in her DMs and stuff, calling her like a cum dumpster, right? Like I'm trying not to be whatever. And she's like, that is great. Like I would rather be that than arrested. And these people are insane. Like she really thinks that her lifestyle.
Well, I just want to point out, it's funny how we can segue from, ladies and gentlemen, the country is collapsing.
I'm sorry.
The dollar is failing.
I'm just so sick of these.
Your
women.
livelihood is at stake. But let's talk about this hooker.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what.
At least his cat.
I have
She's
a reason,
talk about the girls.
I think that a lot of this happened because of feminism and women taking over and all those type of things. And she is just more of that. She's more of that, like women being empowered by their own body, right? She is an extension of that. If we didn't have the feminist movement or even the civil rights, the way they codified, certain things into law, we wouldn't be here right now. We would not be like this, and our society certainly wouldn't be hypersexualized and oversexualized, and I wouldn't be worried about my kids, having to see degenerate stuff in the middle of the street.
Theory, though.
I don't care what it is. It's all degenerate. And listen, we wouldn't have that much. We wouldn't have that much degeneracy if men were men and women were women and women stayed home with kids and paid attention to them and did the right thing and kept them off TikTok and stuff. Do your jobs.
Is this another repeal the 19th thing?
Listen, I'm not saying to repeal the 19th, but I would happily give up my right to vote if these liberal women stopped voting. 100%. If that was the deal, you can have it.
Would you give it up forever?
Yeah, forever. I would give up. I don't even think women should really. I mean, I'm here because of necessity, right? We need to live in a 2-income household, and I kind of resent that. If I'm going to do a job, yeah, fine, I'll be good at it. I do a little bit.
You don't need to live in a 2-income household.
Well, I have to.
You just need a good breadwinner.
Right? Okay, but not everybody has the opportunity to get a good breadwinner. Okay.
Don't sell yourself short.
I'm not saying that, but the point is, it's if I'm forced to work, which I, in my situation, am, right? I'm going to definitely be good at what I do because I want to secure, things for my children. But I definitely resent that. I resent that we're in this type of culture where I have to work. So it annoys me. But I blame feminism and women for a lot. Actually, probably everything.
That's the nature of progressivism in this country is that what starts with tolerance becomes acceptance, becomes requirement.
And celebration.
At first, it was women want to work. Oh, no, we can't have that. And then eventually people were like, look, if a woman wants to work, just let her work, okay? If she can do the job, she can do the job. Then that was tolerance. People tolerated women having jobs in some places. Then it became outright acceptance where all of a sudden you're now seeing women being encouraged. This is a normal thing now. Women should work. And then once all women were working, it's a requirement. Women have to work now. It's no longer a choice.
I was doing a podcast today talking to a buddy of mine, and we were talking about the way that, I don't know, I just had a brain fart and I totally lost what I was going to say.
That happens to me all the time. Literally
You're talking about women in the workplace?
You were talking women. Okay, so, yeah, I'm not sure where I was going with it. I'm sorry.
Podcast.
I apologize. It's
Podcast.
gone.
It's coming
It is
back.
gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. It might come back later, but it's
Something
gone.
about repealing the 19th, I think. Is that what
I
you were
mean,
going?
that's a great idea and everything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's always the men
you
who are
though?
like, don't do it, and the women who are like, yes.
You know, he's like, I'm just kidding. But are you? But are you really kidding?
No, honestly, my personal opinion is democracy is not all that great. It's not all that great.
I'm there with you, too.
I take a more gender ideological view of voting, and I think it shouldn't be about men and women. It should be about your level of testosterone. So if you have a certain level of testosterone above a number, then you can vote.
Yeah, you can only
Otherwise-
vote if you take
I mean, I definitely
trenbolone.
think that there should be some limits to voting. Like, I think that there should be
There are
literacy
limits. There are
literacy
limits to voting.
requirements. Okay, like literacy requirements. I think that there should be comprehension requirements. Most people, they read like those, like the extra measures on the ballots, and they don't even know what they mean. They have no idea, and they're just checking boxes, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, like you should be invested somewhat in your community and own property and
that's
own
good.
land. I'm sorry, like
So-
it's not a freebie. Like everybody wants everything handed to them in this life. Like it's not. No.
The idea that the right to vote doesn't come along with some kind of responsibility is a problem. Everyone's very, very keen on talking about their rights and that they have the right to this and that. Rights come with responsibilities. They're attached. They're part of the right. You have responsibilities that are literally ingrained in having the right. So if you have the right to own property, that means that you are responsible for that property. You don't have the right to take something else from someone else. You have the responsibility to get along with your community and stuff like that, because you're free people have the responsibility to behave in a responsible manner, in a way that works with their community and stuff like that.
But
So-
people are taking it too far. Like they're taking the right
100%.
to own property as like the right to own it, to work to own it,
The right
as
to someone
the right
else's
to
property.
have property. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean. That's with everything, and that's why they can get away with half this stuff, right? They're like, we are morally virtuous and superior, and Trump's Hitler, and so therefore we can do whatever we want, and it's completely justified because it's what I want. That's what my feelings tell me to do.
Yeah.
We've lost.
Yeah, I don't see. I've been saying this nonstop for years, but I do not see, based on the paths that we are on, any point at which in the near future there's unification.
I don't either.
And and I feel like the more this stuff happens, the more it becomes clear to other people what is happening.
People love to complain and people love to poo-poo the idea of any kind of civil conflict and stuff like that. But when you tell them, point to the off-ramp, right? So maybe it's not in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, but tell me what happens that makes the people that are on the left and the people on the right agree to some way organize.
I do have a vision of a future with a nonviolent resolution, and that is Donald Trump wins in 2024. He then immediately brings some better people into DOJ, a good AG. Indictments are issued for corrupt Democrats. The people who pushed impeachment and all these other hoaxes are indicted, tried, and charged. The left loses their minds. There will be riotous moments, but it won't reach that level of total destabilization. We will then see some degree of accountability, and then from there, it will push out the corrupt left and limit their ability to move forward. That, along with people having kids, homeschooling them, getting away from cities, is going to start paving a future out where the left becomes marginalized.
I think right now the divide is just too great for that. I mean, I used to be like that Arthur Brooks conservative heart, like Republican, like, oh, we just need to be nice to them and, show our empathy and get that way. And I am not that way now. If you are on the side that is weaponizing our justice system and thinks it's okay, and you are on the side that are sexualizing my children, you are my enemy. Yeah. Like literally my enemy. Well, I'm protecting my kids. You're my enemy.
I agree, but what I'm saying is if Trump wins in 2024 and immediately gets an AG who starts the indictment process, I think that will marginalize the left. Trump's re-election in 2024 will strip them of their abilities to do things like they're doing now, and it will increasingly marginalize them. Yeah. Their propensity for sterilizing their kids and aborting their own children, combined with conservatives having kids and homeschooling them, will mean that the left will slowly be pushed out, will get smaller. As time goes on, imagine it like this. You got the left and the right. The left will get smaller as the right gets bigger, and then eventually they'll just cease to exist, and the future will just become more populist, pro-America. It starts with Donald Trump getting reelected in 2024.
Yeah, but do you think that's a possibility?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't.
You don't think Trump can get reelected? I think if
I love Trump, and that's who I want. I want him more than I want DeSantis or anybody else. But I think that the majority of
it's ballot harvesting and ballot chasing, and
yeah, but we're not doing that. We don't have that. We don't have the ground game like they do.
They got
And- but-
2
but-
years to get it together.
But we're not getting it
and
together.
the story is Orange County, traditionally conservative,
Mm-hmm.
introduces universal mail voting, ballot harvesting, goes Democrat. Republicans say, hey, wait a minute, boom, Republican again.
You're asking a lot of the establishment people that are already in there. Think about it. Like, how
That
many
is a
Scott
problem.
Presslers do we know? That's the only person that's doing this. You know what I mean? We
without-
need like 70 more Scott Presslers.
Without it, it's wicked bleak.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
got
So
at
everybody-
least 70 Scott Presslers listening right now.
I hope.
Okay, Scott Presslers, I love you. Keep it up.
Yeah, speaking of Scott Pressler, there's a really important election going on in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Let's see,
yeah.
is this in Wisconsin? Is that where this is today?
Are the polls still
Wisconsin Supreme Court vote April 4th. I don't even know if the polls are still open, but they said make a noise about it. Scott, I'm doing it on the show. A lot of people have been talking about making noise about this election in Wisconsin. Polls, I don't know if they're open all day. I don't know. But if you're able to vote, vote. If you're in Wisconsin, you want to vote for your Supreme Court justice.
I think anybody listening who wants to make sure we win just needs to reach out to Scott Pressler. And he's a leader in this regard, registering voters, leading the charge on ballot chasing and where it's legal, ballot harvesting. And if you want to figure out where to get started and how to get started, he's your guy.
And he's so friendly. Like, he will answer anybody. Like, he's the nicest person, too. So, yeah,
So
I agree.
I don't know. I'm fairly confident. I think if the election was held today, Trump would win. The polls say otherwise, but the polls have always been wrong. They're wrong about everything.
I mean, if there's no election shenanigans, right?
Well,
then maybe.
But here's the issue. Republicans need to get on their ground game.
Absolutely.
The activism, the knocking on doors, the chasing, and the harvesting. But right now, the economy is trash. People are angry, and they're angry with Joe Biden. And I was telling this story about how I was at the casino last weekend, and the guy sitting next to me said he thought the J6er should be executed. He also said Joe Biden has destroyed the dollar, it's worthless, and he keeps sending our money overseas. So this guy clearly hates Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Would he vote for Trump? Did
He
you ask?
wouldn't vote. He's the kind of guy who abstains. But this is the kind of he's a suburban liberal-leaning guy who hates Donald Trump, absolutely hates Joe Biden now.
But that's not going to help us. Like,
I
guys
think
like him are not helping anything. Did you tell him that?
Democrats were able to win with ballot harvesting, but it was also because everything was locked down. There was no sports, no movies, nothing to do, and then they went ballot harvesting. They do not have that. If next year we get like H5N1 bird flu or whatever, and everything's locked down again, maybe. But Biden can't do it twice. The first time you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time. You're not gonna fool me a third time. Right?
I mean,
George Bush?
There won't be enthusiasm. There won't
You're
be
not gonna fool me
enthusiasm
again.
for him. Like, people will not turn out for him. That's probably, I guess, where you
No
can
one
see the uptick.
turned out for Joe Biden.
No.
True.
12 million new voters turned out for Donald Trump. What Joe Biden got was not turnout, but
Ballot harvesting.
But returns. He got returns, not turnout, returns.
Right.
And that was when a universal mail-in vote was sent to someone's house, it got returned. Because the Democrats knew it doesn't matter what the sentiment of the population is. It matters how many of these pieces of paper are in that box. Sure. So I guarantee you, you got some guy knocking on a door. Can I help you with something? Have you filled out your ballot? No. Okay, go. Don't come back. Look, I'm going to come back every day until I see you put that in your mailbox. Okay, fine, whatever. Here, Biden, get out of here. Puts it in the mailbox.
I
And
had
the guy
multiple
says, okay.
ones sent to my apartment, and I did absentee ballot. But that's the other thing, too, with the mail-in ballots. When you separate that outer envelope from the inner, they put them in two separate piles. You're never going to be able to match them up again, too. So it's absolutely almost impossible if it's mail-in ballots to tell fraudulent ones from not.
I'm not even concerned about that because
I think Democrats are that crazy. They get 3 ballots sent to their house, they're filling them all out and putting send.
100%.
Sure, maybe. But I mean, it is a lot harder. What I'm more concerned with is just outright ballot harvesting.
Yeah.
Like, you send a vote to every single person's house, the return rate's going to be massive. Then you get very lax signature verification, and that's all you need. We don't need to argue anything else. So Carrie Lake's moves to check signatures is brilliant because the reality is a bunch of these ballots are legitimate and got returned, but probably should be disqualified because they're improperly filled out and can't be securely verified. A lot of them are probably not good, which is why signature verification exists.
Right.
This is the funny thing. They say that it's impossible for there to be like, oh, there's no fraud. Okay, Bill Barr said there was fraud. Was there a substantial amount that altered the outcome of the election? He said no. The issue is, with Kerry Lake's election, there was, 17,000 votes? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now we got a problem. Because we're talking about a very small amount of errors and malfeasance that could cause an election to swing. As it pertains to Donald Trump in 2024, they're not going to have the lockdowns. They're not going to have the political fervor. They may try and generate it with stories like this. The goal of this prosecution may be to get Trump in the news and once again berate regular people over the head and tell them Trump's a criminal because they want Trump in the news. I think it may backfire on them, though, because they don't have COVID this time to lock people down, take away what they love, and force them into a political world.
But there are a lot of people, and I know this like from people in my own family who were like Trump since he came down the stairs. They are really tired of constant drama. Like
Yep.
they're like, listen, if I love him and I think he's going to do a great job, but if it costs me all this, and I don't feel that way. I want him to go in second term and like burn everything. I think he
Yeah.
would be on the biggest revenge tour ever, and I think it would be epic. So
want it.
I'm 100% there for that. But there are regular everyday people that are tired, are tired of all this.
I'm with you. Like, if he wants to exact justice legally, then whatever. But don't just complain for 18 months about it. Don't be like the radical left and that guy and that guy. Like, I was like nodding off. Like, I get it. Do what you got to do when you get there, dude. But you don't need to convince us.
Well, he probably still needs to convince some people.
Give me a vision of goodness that's
Yeah.
going to come out of this, and maybe you'll convince me.
Well, it's hard to see a lot of visions of goodness coming out of this. I mean, they set the precedent. What I think we should do right now is I think that McCarthy should start doing hearings on Hunter Biden and the laptop and Biden himself and how he was corrupt, right? Like anything they can. And then I think all of
Anything
the
at all.
DAs, anything at all, and all of the DAs should start looking at every Democrat within their state to do the same thing. Here's the deal, right? Like they're already playing unfair. It's time for us to play unfair. What they did was they were like, find me the guy and I'll find you the crime. Do the same thing now. Do it now.
We have this story from Timcast.com. Kevin McCarthy says Congress will hold DA Bragg accountable.
Get him.
The DA is attempting to interfere in our democratic process by invoking federal law to bring politicized charges against President Trump. He cited politicized charges by the New York DA in a statement. Bragg's weaponization of the federal justice process will be held accountable by Congress. All right, well, I'm not going to hold my breath for Kevin McCarthy or anything like that, but maybe we'll see something.
The problem is they don't have any authority to put anybody in jail. So we can expose all this stuff, but the DA, not the DA, the justice system, the DOJ, is not going to do anything with any of the findings. I mean, we see that all the time. All they have is subpoena power, and even when they have subpoena power, they will not enforce it. They will not say, oh, you were called, you didn't testify, or you lied. How many people do you see all the time testify in hearings that lie under oath to Congress, which is a jailable offense, and nothing happens to them? So there is no accountability when it comes to Congress other than a fact-finding missions, which everybody seems to politicize anyway. But I still think it needs to be done. But I really think all the Republican DAs in this country need to get their butts in gear, for sure.
I agree 100%. The more that the Republicans and conservatives can use the government to attack their opponents, do it. Do it. It's on.
I mean,
It's
they already did
on.
it. They already did it.
Indictments,
Yeah, do it.
hearings, subpoenas,
Do it.
all of it.
Punish them. Punish them.
Well, but
Do
I
lawfare, that's what it is.
I think that's a bad way to think about it. Republicans for the longest time have been spineless and cowardly. We don't need to punish anybody. We need the law. We need them to be like, we're just going to do the bare minimum of law enforcement. Hunter Biden, bare minimum, special prosecutor.
It's lawfare. Tie them up in hearings all the
But
time.
it's not even. This is the problem. If the right's view of standard law enforcement is a special circumstance in which we get revenge, this is why Republicans never go after Democrats when they break the law. It's like, well, Barack Obama murdered a 16-year-old, but because I don't want revenge, we're going to let it slide. So this idea that we have to get revenge on them, I don't care about revenge. I just want justice one time. I want to see Barack Obama in handcuffs being brought into a criminal court for the murder of Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki. Instead, Donald Trump paid a hooker. And that's what the spectacle is. So
They would have gotten him for jaywalking. Like that's where
I would
really
be surprised
where we are
if they
at
had
this point.
that. When you entered the courthouse, Mr. Former President, you jaywalked.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, Republicans don't do anything.
Anything.
well, this is the time that they need to get on it. They need to get their butts in gear. But what's going to motivate them? Because they know that the voters are still going to vote for them, right? Like that's their incentive is, are they going to be reelected? There's no incentive for them to go harder than it is other than our country failing. But there's what, a handful, maybe 3 or 4 that we like that have a backbone like that?
Cowards. There's so few conservatives that will do anything. They absolutely should do. I think that they should use every means that the law allows to go after their political opponents for every single violation. If they
Yes,
jaywalk,
but think about what
anything.
the logic of that statement is. We let them break the law. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
No. I'm saying
we're doing that in
go
Tennessee.
after them for every violation of the law. The government, the
Right,
Republicans,
but it's not punishment. It's not revenge. It's not justice or accountability. It's just the standard process of law enforcement that's been ignored by the Republicans.
Absolutely, and they have ignored it. They've been ignoring it. Donald Trump himself ignored the law. He allowed.
So what we
he
should
didn't
be,
have his DOJ get him.
It's like this. It's like when the Democrats say high capacity magazine and they refer to anything above 10 rounds, despite the fact that rifles come with 30 round magazines as standard. When we say like we want revenge, we want punishment, we want go after them on every infraction, it's the same thing. It's like no. Here's how I'm gonna phrase it. I would like the Republicans to do as little as possible, little teeny bit. The least amount they can do. Because right now, they're doing nothing.
Yeah,
I would ask they only do a little bit.
It's kind of like they're frozen.
And then maybe after that. So one thing they can do, I guess, is how about in Colorado, we get any DA, any single one, because there's no statute of limitations on murder, or San Diego, where Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki also lived. And San Diego, you got any Republicans down there? There's no statute of limitations on murder. Indict Barack Obama.
That would be great.
Do it, you spineless cowards.
I mean,
Can we just start with let's just start with the lefty weirdos that are protesting all the time. Look at Tennessee. They've got a Republican governor. They've got Republican DAs, right? Bill Lee, he's the Republican governor of Tennessee. Start hunting down and prosecuting every person that trespassed in that capital, because that's what they did. Charge them with a felony. Charge them with, interrupting a civil proceeding. Right? That's 4 years in prison, because all our guys are sitting there rotting away for 4 years in prison.
Just do the least amount you can, because right now you're doing nothing.
I understand the argument you're making. Essentially, it's a narrative argument,
right?
Which is fair, but I don't care how we classify it. I think that the narrative is probably not going to be won by the right, because the narrative is going to be be so heavily dictated.
Winning.
No, the narrative is not going to be able to be dictated by the right.
I don't care about winning a narrative against the left. Those people don't matter to me. It's like asking me what I think about the people of France. Like, well, I've heard about what they do. I don't care. The issue is we keep going to conservatives and telling them, putting it in their minds that what we are asking for is lifting a 2-ton stone, when in fact we're asking Republicans pick up a measly little pebble.
Dude,
we are when we come out and we say we need our politicians to go out and go after every infraction, instead of being like, can we please get a single Republican to do the least amount of work possible?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's
the results that I'm after. It's the results of that least amount of work that I want, because the results are what's going to inhibit other political actors from behaving that way in the future. So yes, I get what you're saying about just doing the minimum.
If people think that indicting Barack Obama is a tremendous undertaking of abnormality, that we must now change our action and go full force in, they won't expect it to happen. If we say the least a conservative DA in Colorado or San Diego could do is indict Obama for murder, that's the least they could do, then it's more like, okay, well, that they should be doing that tomorrow. If you want to talk about escalating, 34 charges and 136 years in prison, that's a whole other story. But right now, I believe Republicans and conservatives in this country have become such. It's funny because I love how they make fun of soy boys how the right's always making fun of soy boys. Yet all the conservative has in terms of law enforcement and DAs are the soyest of soy boys. Listen to this. An Antifa soy boy made fun of by conservatives will firebomb a building and then risk going to prison for 30 years. And a conservative DA will be like, well, I can't charge anybody with a crime. I mean, I don't think the court works that way. And who's the real soy boy?
They're less than soy boys. I mean, they're deranged people. When the left used to say like there's a big mental health crisis, we have a huge mental health crisis, and it's 9 times out of 10 all these deranged people on the left. Like, to be able to go and do that over some of the issues that they are going and doing and believing the narratives that they believe, they are absolutely deranged. I don't mentally ill.
People scrolling on their phone all day are deranged.
I don't understand this narrative of these people being soy boys when there's videos of them screaming at the top of their lungs and smashing windows, and I'm just like, yo, they are like psychotically aggressive.
Some.
And then, but
I had that little one pull my hair. Remember the Antifa in Philly when I was like filming?
A soy boy pulled your hair.
Yeah, it was an Antifa soy boy.
Now think
pulled
about
my
this.
hair.
The smallest thing a person could do in terms of fighting back, the most rudimentary, would be pulling hair. We can't even get a Republican to indict a Democrat for the criminal actions they have conducted.
It's because we live in the logic of Herbert Marcuse.
My point is, the people we accuse of being soy boys are so much stronger than your average Republican politician. It's laughable that people make fun of them for being low-T soy boys. I'm like, dude, at least that guy went outside and screamed. These conservative DAs are doing nothing. In fact, many of them are working with Democrats. You want to talk about low-T soy boys? Purposefully crawl under the legs of a Democrat so they can rest their feet. And then you complain the guy outside screaming and smashing windows is low-T? Sorry, I'm
You're
not playing it.
absolutely right. They are working together too. And that's why like PA is the way that it is. It's like purple and all now. Our GOP is so corrupt in PA that the Republican nominees that are winning like just little tiny races or whatever are getting called by the Democrat mayor congratulating them. They receive money. You should look into it. Like, they receive money from Democrat donors, the Republicans in Philadelphia itself. Like, it's baffling. It's like really mind-boggling. But you're right. They're working together.
It's not just, no, the Republicans are like Democrat political, submissives.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. Look, you look at what they do on TV. I mean, look at what we're watching right now. They indicted Donald Trump, a local district attorney, a local guy, indicts Donald Trump. You mean to tell me Barack Obama blew up a kid, blew him up, his cousin and a bunch of civilians, and Republicans are like, well, I don't know if I could do anything.
It's part of why
dude.
I was reading that why they're not going after Trump for any kind of war crimes, because they don't want to open that can of worms. That's everybody, man. That's the administrations of Obama. That's the guy carrying the letter down the hall for Obama.
And they opened the can of worms by indicting Trump.
Yeah, I think that would have been at least more substantial than this. At least you could.
What qualifies you for jurisdiction is, I wonder. Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki was born in Denver. He lived in San Diego. So I could be wrong, but let's just figure out what area he was in. And then where is a conservative district attorney to do what Bragg is doing? To announce criminal charges, bring the evidence before a grand jury. It's a conservative area. Of course they're going to vote to indict. And then announce Barack Obama, because there's no statute of limitations on murder, especially of children, is being formally charged and will have to come and answer for his crimes.
I'm ready.
You know what, man?
Let's go find them. Me and Cassandra will go tackle them, get them all on the show, and force them to do it.
Let's start inviting.
Seriously, let's invite DVAs.
Well, so we need to figure out what jurisdiction they would have, right? So the guy in New York, it's because Trump runs a business out of New York. That's what he's doing.
Right.
Trump, So where are the conservative district attorneys or state's attorneys or ADAs or whatever who will go before a grand jury with evidence against any Democrat? The time is now. The Democrats opened the can of worms.
I'll start making one of my spreadsheets up. We'll come up with some
Now
names.
is the time for the Republican Party to, the Republican establishment is garbage, so they're not going to do anything. But now is the time.
The two-party system's garbage.
The two-party system is a fault
uniparty.
of the first past the post voting system. It's an inevitability. There's no other way it could emerge. And that's why you end up with multi-factional parties. So it's just the two-party system doesn't really mean anything. When you say two-party system, makes no sense. It doesn't mean anything. A libertarian will run as a Republican and then win. Like Thomas Massey's a libertarian, Ron Paul's a libertarian, Rand Paul's a libertarian.
It makes no sense to think that only a Democrat or Republican can win. Because if you start to think like that,
that's what primaries are for. But that's what primaries are for. So this idea that people are like, the two-party system doesn't work, it's like, dude, you know there are primaries, right? Like, the Democrats have socialists, they have corporatists, they have neo-libs. There's a whole bunch of different people within the Democratic Party. They all go up on stage, they all state their case, and then one of them wins. And then it goes down to the leading candidates, Democrat, Republican.
Yeah, but even if you have better ideas and you're running it, and you're a libertarian that's running and as a conservative in like a GOP primary race, that even if you have better ideas and some good name ID, the GOP party's going to back the GOP candidate. They're not going to back the libertarian.
Right. So there's an issue with the private structure of the two parties for sure. But let me just stress right now, I want to put out that call to everybody who's listening to make a call to your local district attorneys. Ask them why they aren't. Well, I'll put it this way. Don't cold call. If you want to be active, figure out what crimes may have been committed by a Democrat where your conservative-leaning district has jurisdiction, and then call up the DA and be like, why aren't you not indicting? I think it needs to be done. I think Barack Obama should be criminally charged.
Yes.
I think the DA in just whichever city would have jurisdiction, whatever county would have jurisdiction, or state. It could be done statewide. There could be state charges from Colorado.
Clearly violated his constitutional rights to a trial. There was
Obama?
Obama
absolutely.
violated his rights. I mean,
But it's not even about violating rights. He didn't kill Abdurrahman al-Awlaki for doing anything criminal.
Oh,
This was just an outright murder.
The
If a
kid
cop pulls out his gun, walks up to a kid and shoots him in the head,
Yeah.
there's no self-defense. Literal murder. Yeah. They may try and claim it, but then you look at the evidence and you're like, no, you knew the kid's father. You hated the kid's father. You were in a fight with the kid's father and killed him. And then you went into an area by choice and killed the kid and his cousin and other civilians. That's the other thing. You want to make the argument about Abdurrahman al-Awlaki. Oh, it's the son of a terrorist. Like, okay, what about the civilians in the cafe? Barack Obama doesn't have the authority to murder civilians.
What about the soldiers that shot the wrong person or dropped the drone bomb on the wrong guy, or the commanders that ordered the drone bomb?
There's a difference between a country we're actively at war with, where someone is following a legal order and there's collateral damage, which I think is bad, but not necessarily criminal, and Barack Obama ordering a drone strike on a country we are not at war with.
We're not at war with any of them, dude.
Ordering a drone strike on that's the point. Ordering a drone strike on a civilian restaurant, killing multiple civilians, including an American citizen. And I will absolutely state, for any person who is in a foreign country right now waving the American flag, shooting anyone in which there has been no declared formal war, I think they should be criminally charged as well.
All the soldiers from Afghanistan and Iraq the last 20 years, you think should be
There was an
indicted?
AUMF for those. Congress declared authorization for use of military force.
Well, did Obama not have that?
Obama did not have an authorization for use of military force in Yemen to target a civilian cafe and kill an American.
That one had zero authorization.
Ian, the fact that he killed American citizens, multiple American citizens, like you have protections under the Constitution that prevents the government from just targeting you and killing you without a trial. Like he violated the rights of two Americans. One targeted Anwar al-Awlaki. He targeted. They said that it was, oh well, he's a terrorist, but there was no trial to find him guilty of anything. They just shot a missile at him because he was exercising his freedom of speech. And he was complaining about the U.S. government, obviously, saying, making terroristic threats or whatever. But he has that freedom. The freedom of speech. You have the right to speak your mind. He was basically saying, Islamic fundamentalist things. And his kid was definitely a U.S. citizen.
Make an argument about Anwar al-Awlaki. They say that he was suspected of being in al-Qaeda. That means he's waging war against the United States.
Suspected.
But still, if you are in a war zone, where was he? He was in Pakistan or something.
I don't know. So
you're in a country, first and foremost, we're not at war with, then I do not believe that the president has the right to just start striking random countries. Now, I will do this for the sake of the highest of high ground and steelman argument. You win on the Anwar al-Awlaki issue. He was an al-Qaeda terrorist. Okay. You will never win on the Abdulrahman al-Awlaki argument that Yemen, not at war there, civilian cafe, no reason to target it, American citizen who had done nothing in the United States to anyone, no justification for the murder, other than I believe the Obama administration wanted to send a message to Al-Qaeda and to other organizations, we will kill your children. If you screw with us, this is what you get. And I guarantee you, there are many people who saw that and said, I can't do this anymore. They'll kill my children.
Yeah.
I think that was the point. Yep. Now, the argument they made was they were targeting a terror leader and it was an accident. Whoopsie.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, fine. Let's entertain that argument. Barack Obama,
doesn't mean you get away with it.
if you're a police officer and you see a guy running from the scene of a crime and you think he is the murder suspect when someone calls in and says, a guy just shot someone, you see him running, you say freeze, he turns around and he's holding something in his hand that starts to point at you and you go, no, and you shoot him. I'm going to be like, okay, that's like manslaughter. That's like negligent homicide.
I don't think you deserve jail time for that, though.
That's a tough question. But if the police make a mistake and kill an innocent person, there is accountability in some fashion. If Barack Obama, now let's put it this way. Let's do a better one. The cops kick the door into the wrong house and then see they're in plain clothes and they see a man standing in the kitchen holding a knife and he yells, get out of my house. So they shoot and kill him.
Okay, that's the wrong door. Like, okay, yes.
So when Barack Obama drone bombs a country we are not at war with and kills a bunch of civilians.
So the problem I see is anybody convicting him of that. However, it would be advantageous to still embarrass him and, have him hire attorneys and drown him in paperwork and all that stuff. Because
why can't anyone indict him for it?
Oh, they can indict him. Absolutely. I'm just saying, he won't be convicted. In a
Republican district, yeah, he would.
I think that Republicans don't they will follow the beyond a shadow of a doubt reasoning.
That's why they'll lose.
That is why they'll lose. And the left doesn't do that. It's just different. They have a conscience, I feel like.
Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton too. She was Secretary of State. Yeah. So Libya and all that stuff. Let's just start layering on the indictments.
Why not?
The biggest mistake Trump made.
She could have been in jail literally for the email scandal. That is a thing. That is legit.
Owen Benjamin tweeted out today, you guys, it's all gang warfare, man. The world, everything, it's all gang. We're in a gang. We have gang leaders. And to pretend like it's not that way, that they're not just ready to break bones, is just know your role. But know your place in the system, or you're going to be taken out of the system. I thought it was a pretty observant. He's true. It's horrible to think
But that's actually an inverted way to think about it. Gangs are micro-governments that form when there's a power vacuum. Gangs are literally just.
I don't think he used the word gang. He was saying that it's like all government, all this stuff. It's all just rule of force. They're not going to indict each other. They're going to make sure that their rule and law stays in place. I don't want to just be like, okay, Nazis, do whatever you want. I don't want to be that guy that just bows down to the authority. But it was observant. If you're going to change it, it's not through using their tactics. It's got to be some unforeseen technology or something.
Yeah.
Cosmic Surgeon said Tim's DA has jurisdiction on something. Lead Tim. Yes, absolutely. I will be talking with local government, and we'll figure it out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Super Chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, and become a member at timcast.com. Go to timcast.com, click Join Us. And if you're a new member and you want to get access to the VIP chat where you can ask questions, call into the show, it's the $25 a month option. However, there's also the $10 a month option. After 6 months, you instantly get upgraded into the VIP chat room. Other than that, you'll get access to the VIP, you'll get the IRL live lounge. There we go, I got it. And that chat appears on the screen during our uncensored portion of the show. I can't talk anymore. All right, we're going to read your Super Chats. Let's go.
Yo.
Bertman Super Chats, the Burtoning will continue until morale improves.
Bert has taken over.
Yes. He owns the Discord now, apparently. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, in that case, the Burtoning will never end.
I'm all for that. I don't mind.
For those that aren't aware, you have to be a member and hang out in the Discord server with all of these people who have decided that for some reason one of our writers, Chris Bertman, is their leader now. He's made a cult, I guess.
Yeah, I was talking to him down in the green room today about that exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was laughing maniacally.
Yes, he was actually.
It was strange. I was concerned. All right. Free Men Die Free says they'll drag the trial out until after the election, then drop the charges. I mean, it's the same thing as
I don't know about
impeachment.
that. I think that they will drag discovery and all that out, and then when he's supposed to be actively out campaigning, they will have him sitting in a courtroom.
Yep.
And then he won't be able to participate as normal, for sure.
Yep. I have to wonder why Trump surrendered.
I don't know why either. I would have said, come and take me, and have 800 million MAGA people surrounding his house, and DeSantis, right? Like, I would, and the members of Congress, they should have been out there with the people, stand in front of Mar-a-Lago with their arms crossed,
They'd have
like, you're
dropped
going to
it.
have to come through all of us.
They would have dropped it immediately.
They should have.
If Donald Trump said, these are clearly political charges, the claims made have already passed the statute of limitations, and
Come and get
you will not drag money, time, or energy out of me for false and frivolous charges. You're welcome to come to Florida if you believe otherwise. It would have created a huge press storm. And then once the indictment was released, even CNN called it underwhelming and said, we've already known about this. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Then people would have been like, there's no real charges here. Alvin Bragg would have been extremely embarrassed. Members of Congress would be saying, like, what is this? It would humiliate the Democrats. Trump would still raise money off of it, and Trump would look stronger. And it would also seriously hurt DeSantis.
Think about how motivated the base would be if he says, no, come and take me. And then everybody lines up. I mean, like Jan 6 style, but peaceful.
I don't think they would line
block in
up.
the house. Oh, I think they would.
But they wouldn't need to. I think he would just be like, it's not going to happen.
It would be cool though. That would be a moment if like you had the MAGA base surrounding Mar-a-Lago, like, yeah, you ain't taking them, and already after DeSantis said, I'm not going to get involved in extradition, it would have been monumental.
Ready to Rumble says, make the chat members only today. Too many trolls. What we have now for you, my friend, is instead of being a member on YouTube, become a member of Timcast.com and join the Discord server, and then you are in a screened chat room with other people. Yeah. All right. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, if you're not already, now is the time to be angry into action. Be more vocal with your normie friends. Talk about the extremeness of the Democratic Party. Now is not the time to sit on the sidelines of offense. I'd put it this way. When I was sitting next to that dude who wanted the Jan 6ers to be executed, you know, he was really angry. And there's no way I can say to him, hey, look, man, you're wrong. You can't call for that. He'd get angrier. The only thing you can say is, yeah, I don't know, man. All I know is just like indicting a former president. Like, you start arresting the president, they're going to arrest back, and then this country is going to fall apart. Like, they need to chill out. And then that's like, okay, well, that's reasonable. We all should chill out. Yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone's kind of lost their mind. Don't you think everybody should kind of chill out? You got to start somewhere. Right. You can't start by walking up to somebody who disagrees with you and just being like, you're wrong. Because then they're going to be like, I do now. You're a bad guy.
You. I look at them and I'm like, I hate you and you disgust me and I want you to be nowhere near me.
Well, then you're not going to win.
I know that I'm not, but I wasn't winning them over in the first place anyway, but I'm furious.
I
was around 2016, 17. I was winning people over, writing like diatribes on Facebook, but now I have been so angry at everything that they're doing that it's almost like I can't control it anymore. It's visceral. I see like a blue-haired demon and I'm ready to explode.
This is what they want. They're destroying the United States.
I know.
Demoralization.
Yeah, absolute demoralization. Both in the form of morals and morale.
But I'm a woman, so like that's expected. I'm emotional.
Do you dip off the internet ever?
What?
Just for like 2 days?
Oh, yeah. I took a break actually just like for the last 2 days up until yesterday. Actually, I wasn't even on there all day today either. Nice. I was like frantically doing a space on the way down so I can get more information about what's going on today. But yeah, I tip off.
So what is this? Jay says, did you see what happened at the Disney stockholder meeting? Iger may have screwed up severely. No, I didn't. What happened?
I didn't see.
They're going to indict Iger? I'm just kidding.
I don't know, Jay. You should include in your super chat the context, because otherwise, I don't know what this refers to. I'm assuming something bad happened and he got yelled at for some reason. I don't know.
I can look it up.
All right. Aaron Bonestell says you should have a look at your Apple Podcast uploads. Last few that I have listened to randomly skips ahead, then skips back, not playing the parts that was skipped. Most of the last was Kirk talking.
That's informative.
Randomly skips ahead, then skips back. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be an issue with like the Apple software?
For that we just upload the raw file, don't we? Serge?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't know what to tell you on that one. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, that could be you.
It sounds like it could be. There's a lot of variables within this, but yeah, sorry about that.
Max Reddick says, Tim, have you been watching any of David Pakman's stuff lately? The dude is losing it. Check it out. David Pakman completely lost his mind.
Yeah.
So I pulled up his YouTube, and it's like, yo, like it's just Trump, 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 Trump,
I don't know who
Trump,
that is.
Trump, Trump.
Exactly.
Look at this. Like
Leftist talking head.
he's here. Okay, let's count.
He's like a YouTuber from
Trump,
2007.
Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, so two for Trump, 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 Marjorie Taylor Greene, April Fools. So we're at 5 of 8 videos, 6 of 9 videos about Trump. Trump again. So Trump, 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 guns.
He's an addiction. Trump's
It's just
an
Trump.
addiction
Oh,
to them.
Trump, Trump, Trump. Bro, it's like, what are you doing? Trump, 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 Trump.
He wants everyone to know that he doesn't like Donald Trump.
That's crazy.
The orange man is very bad.
Like I've got, on my channel, I've got like a dating video. Like here's some women talking about dating. Like here's a woman talking about this. Here's a woman talking about that. Here's I got one about immortality. Ray Kurzweil talks about becoming immortal in the next few years. I got one about shopkeeper fights with thief.
I want to do one on surrogacy. If you ever want to do one on surrogacy, give me a call because I'm very passionate
But
about
I
it.
just mean like in terms of the things I'm interested in talking about, it's not just like Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden,
Right.
Joe Biden. Granted, like putting out 6 videos per day, there was a lot of Democrat talk for sure. But on his channel, it's just like you go through and it's like just Trump, specifically Donald Trump, not the Republicans, not Congress, not laws. Trump, 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 Trump.
He
That-
makes the clicks.
He's not even on
I don't
social
think-
media
no, he's not
anymore.
even-
Like, how
he's-
is there
he's
that
not even
many
getting
things
the
to talk
clicks.
about?
Yeah.
It's like I think that's the toilet flush of algorithmic death.
he thinks he is. Yeah.
When a person is like, this is the only thing my audience responds to now, so I'll do more of it, and then you isolate and alienate more and more of your audience until you get to the point where the only thing you can talk about, it's an addiction.
Yeah. It's like a CNN death spiral.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He did it to himself. And he's even getting ragged on by the left, so you reap what you sow, man.
That's it. That's a death knell.
Yep. Catherine Molina says, are you going to talk about brick? Now, bricks. Well, it's been bricks for a while.
There's always bricks.
It's going to be Brix's or something, Saudi Arabia.
oh yeah.
Or Brixasaza, because it's
Brixas.
South Africa and Saudi Arabia. And who else is joining?
Oh,
Turkey?
the coalition.
I think wasn't it
think
Turkey? Was it? What, I
I
don't know.
think
if we were
Turkey
saying-
and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
No,
something
yeah,
like
Turkey.
that.
So
It was Turkey.
Brixtus.
Turkey's a nuclear power.
Yep.
They're the keys to the Black Sea. That
Turkey's
makes a lot of
nuclear
sense.
power?
Yeah.
Are you sure about
Yeah,
that?
they're part of NATO. Yeah.
No, they're
pretty
not.
sure.
I don't know that they're part of NATO either.
Yeah, they're in
Are they
NATO.
NATO?
Turkey's
Russia,
in
China,
NATO.
Brazil, India.
T-Rex Pet Shop says, Ian, does Mr. Bocus's food have corn, wheat, soy, or animal byproducts in it? Purina is notorious for
Yeah,
having
they
bad
have-
ingredients. Vet gets kickbacks from companies for promoting bad food sometimes. If it has any of those ingredients, you should switch.
You know, it has like animal liver.
He's on medicated food.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a
very
kidney
specific, low phosphate or
I
phosphorus or
just
whatever.
switched to this outrageously priced for like a trial for that frozen dry food. Like it's like real meat, but it's like freeze dried real
Yeah.
quick, and you stick it in. I'm waiting for it to come.
What do you microwave it for a short second
no,
or something?
No, you kind of like let it thaw. You have this like it has bone broth treats and stuff in there for them, but it's all raw food, and then it's like freeze dried to like maintain the nutritional value, and then I don't know,
Cat food?
dog food.
Oh.
I have a dog.
What is this? Austin Scott says gold is the 3rd worst performing precious metal at 28% since the year 2000. Lithium is over 450%.
Yeah, palladium's where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think palladium's actually gone down. Oh, lithium's gone way down.
Palladium's going to be used in cold fusion.
that's cool. But like, if you're talking about exchange, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, I'll take."
Lithium's
palladium."
down
yeah.
34. What is it? 34% this month. Gold is up 9%. Silver's up 18. Platinum's up 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You find a good financial advisor to tell you what to do about all that stuff. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says Freedomistan is where it's at. I'll be there one day. It's under construction.
Yeah, we'll all be
really
there.
annoying how long it takes. I'm super. I can't even describe how annoyed and angry I am with it now being almost 2 years.
Yeah.
2
How lucky we
years.
are to be annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I've seen in the 2 years that we've been trying to get this built, cities be built. Like I'm exaggerating, but I've seen like actual projects come to completion where construction companies come in, snap their fingers, and they time. I'm like, dude, it's been 2 years.
That's why you need the Amish. They'll come in and build you a whole barn in a day.
There's a variety of issues. One is Comcast won't install the internet line.
You've had problems with that before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just normal rural stuff.
Yeah.
And
Right.
even so, at first they were like the materials don't exist, blame the shutdowns, and the economic collapse, and all that stuff. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, almost 2 years now, waiting for this thing to this place to be done.
We'll get there soon, Chad.
Yeah, I'm ready to make something happen. So
Yeah.
we'll see. The good news though is the club for elite members and other in-person members is probably going to go up real soon.
Yep.
So we got a building in West Virginia. It's got 3 floors. First floor is a coffee shop. Floor plan's been drawn up. They're going to be installing the plumbing, and that's moving along. Castbrew.com already exists. We have our coffee packaging, branding, and all that stuff. You can now pre-order Cast Brew coffee. Second floor is going to be a hangout with games, movies, and things like that. And third floor is the ultra private social club for elite members. And we're hoping to get a gaming license for poker, so we can have a small poker club where we will film poker with the boys.
I love that. There's so many people that would want to do poker with the boys, like that I know.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
of our little.
Well, tons of members of Congress, especially. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like poker is just poker with the boys is exactly what it is. We're not pros. Maybe some pros will come by sometime. This is not going to be a pro poker show. It's going to be a table smack talk show where you have people hanging out, having a good time, and just playing a game for fun.
Nice.
And then it's going to be funny when you're like, I can't believe Matt Gaetz got bluffed out of that hand. He was sitting on nut straight, and then he thought the guy had the flush, and it's like Alex Jones has got like 7-2 offsuit and wins. It's going to be so much fun.
See, I don't gamble and I don't know how to play or anything like
Not
that.
gambling.
But okay, but you know what I'm saying. Like I don't gamble, so I don't know how to play like any type of poker. What I'll do though is I'll bring the cigars and I'll come around and light them all for you and bring you drinks. That'll be my contribution.
That's the big debate, but
It should be boys only.
poker. Well, the gag is we're going to have the women wear fake mustaches,
That's really funny.
and then we're going to be like, no
That's
girls
actually
here,
funny.
and then.
But it should be. I think that that's another thing that's missing from society is like men having like male fellowship time where the boys hang out with the boys without the girls and like do manly things together. I think it's a necessary component. Now all like the women are like, oh, you're going golfing and you're leaving me. But like men need that. Men need that
I got it.
camaraderie. They used to have what? Hunting lodges and this and that. Like men need that.
But hold on, I want you to imagine, you get like maybe Charlie Kirk and say Ian maybe and Phil, maybe Matt Gaetz, and they're playing poker against with Carrie Lake, who's got a double shot of whiskey and a cigar, and she's staring down Matt, and then she shoves all in, and then Matt's just like, I'm out. He folds, and then she flips over 7-2, and it's like, damn.
It'd be good content for sure.
I know, it'd be hilarious.
That would be good content, yeah,
know?
for sure.
I'm really excited for it. And the more I'm learning when I'm mentioning this to like our guests, a lot of members of Congress, a lot of people we have on the show, they all play. They're like, I would love to be there. That's going to be so amazing. Like Troy Nails was here, and he's super excited because he loves poker.
I like it.
Charlie Kirk said he plays a little bit. Matt Gaetz definitely plays. I don't know if, maybe he'll come down for it, but I know that he plays.
He would definitely come down.
Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious. Alex Jones, Michael Malice. Destiny plays. Destiny, the liberal.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I actually, me and Destiny kind of, although we hate each other, we get along. It's not like me and Hunter Avalon, who I hate.
He said, Destiny said he used to play tournaments and things like that. And I was like, bro, you got to come down. It's going to be hilarious. You with Alex Jones, like playing this game is going to be just the funniest. And it's not political. Like the idea is we're not going to sit here and yell at each other over politics. It'll come up a little bit. But the idea is to actually just hang out and have fun. And
It'd be interesting to see people's behavior in that type of situation. Like I would love to see how certain people act because when you're playing poker, it's different than when you're out there giving a speech or trying to get your point across.
But I got to say this, it's not gambling.
I know it's not gambling. It's not like
But you just said twice. I don't gamble, so I don't know how to play.
when I say gamble, I mean like I don't know,
Yeah.
poker, blackjack, like those. I consider them gambling games. So I will be right for you for for card games.
If you go to a casino and you sit at a table and play blackjack, you're gambling. Right?
Right.
If you, Lisa, sat down with Phil Hellmuth, you're not gambling. He's taking all your money with the snap of his fingers.
Pretty much
instantly.
true, yeah.
Because it's not gambling.
I actually know a famous, a professional poker player. He used to be Harry Callis's in Philly, like his son, and he's an opera singer and a professional poker player. Isn't that bizarre?
That'd be cool.
Gambling,
Have him on the
gambling
show.
implies that it's a game of chance, and there is no chance that you're going to win.
It's a game of skill in this case.
Yeah.
Not a game
Like-
of chance.
So it's funny because I've had the argument back at me that luck is involved in it, and even a lot of pros think so. And I'm like, sure, just like if you train for American Ninja Warrior and you suck at the salmon ladder or something, and you're hoping this time around the final stage doesn't include it, congratulations. It's a game of luck because they didn't include the one obstacle you're bad at. No, come on, get out of here. If you train for something, you have strengths and weaknesses. And so I think that applies to a game like poker as well. Clearly, anybody who's actually played the game knows that if you don't know what you're doing and don't know how to play, you just lose really, really quickly, like any other game.
Yeah, my brother was winning for a while. I'll have to bring him down. You would love my brother. I'll bring my brother down and have him play poker
But
with you guys.
you can get lucky. You can play your best and still lose, so that element exists. But like I said, you could be really good at golf, and then what? Oh no, there's a sand trap. I'm really bad at So it's like, is that
Or the
luck?
wind can pick up.
Yeah, it's not a game of luck because it's windy one day and you're like, man, this sucks. How am I supposed? It's too windy. You know what I mean?
No, it's
like,
skill. You have to adjust for those things.
Yeah. But anyway, let's read some more super chats. Eric Christensen says a feminist will spend all day telling you she doesn't need a man until there's a spider. Scratch Bocus's belly or whatever wherever he likes it for us.
I did that earlier.
Yeah, Bocus actually doesn't mind if you rub his belly. Like a lot of cats will just they'll slash you because it's like you're touching them in their weak point and cats don't like it. But Bocus will actually stretch out and and then you can rub his belly and he just rolls with it. Yeah, Bocus is a chill dude. He seems to be getting better, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Cats are kind of growing on me. I was always a dog person, thought cat people were weird. But they're growing on me. My brother had a wife, and she has a cat now, so now I'm being nicer to cats. So
Anthony Graham says, I think Lisa is spot on. No one likes to say this out loud, but women generally are more emotional. Funny how media can twist your emotions to vote.
that's all they do. They play on women's emotions, and that's why we keep hearing the suburban mom narrative, suburban moms, and that's who everything is targeted to. If you think about the ads that you watch on TV, almost all of them are targeted towards women because women are the ones that basically spend the money for the household, right? And so you have almost all of television geared towards women, and we're telling women that you're happier single and you're happier, and having abortions, and you're happier having a career, and your husband's an idiot. Like, think about every commercial that you know. The men in the commercial are always idiots, and the women are like, oh, I'm the real smart one, right? Yeah. Like, it has totally poisoned and perverted everybody's minds. Yeah. I tell my daughter now, like, your main job is to get married and have babies. Like, I literally tell her that as I'm making her memorize.
You sound exactly like what most guys think they want a woman to sound like.
Well, you should tell her that when she's old enough. I don't know how old she is, but you shouldn't literally do this. But I'm saying you should. I'm kidding, by the way, but have her just test the testosterone levels of the man and make sure it's above a certain level. Because what I was going to say is, the voting thing isn't about women. It's about the level of testosterone. Yeah. And that correlates with aggression and agreeableness. Low T males are also very agreeable. Women and low T men will follow the crowd because it's safe.
I don't know about those agreeable tests. I took those tests and they said I was agreeable, like lower than the thing. And I was like, guys, I'm not agreeable.
Was that a Jordan Peterson's thing? How agreeable? What percent?
I think it was like 48% or something like that. Like it was like low. It was like 48%. It was under the 50 thing. And the only thing that I got that was like unusual was the conscientiousness, which is weird because I'm sloppy sometimes, but I get all my work done. I'm reliable and stuff. So I don't know. If you need me last minute, I'm here.
Lewis T says, Tim Pool casting on YouTube, watching Rumble. That's right. And Timcast.com is hosted on Rumble servers, and the Uncensored After Show uses Rumble infrastructure. Nice. And we then show Rumble on YouTube and tell people to support channels on Rumble. How's that for doing a show on YouTube?
Platform pollination.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Discord, great first step. I'm on that white pill. So we have with the Discord server, the Elite Club, which is $100 a month. Very few people are in it. The idea is, for now, it's just the Discord. It's a way for people to network who want to meet like-minded people and then work on projects together. In New York, this is the thing. I've seen a lot of people in chat be like, $100 a month? Are you crazy? And it's like, in New York, there are people who spend $50,000 a year to be a member of a social club so they can get access to executives and VPs of major media companies and tech companies. You show up to these clubs, you pay your dues, there's free food and drinks. Next thing you know, you're sitting next to the guy who runs one of the biggest media companies in the world. So they gladly pay this. Yet we have to have social clubs like that. For the time being, what we're doing is this Saturday when we go to Austin, I am going to tell all of the elite members exactly where I am to come hang out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be a pseudo meetup. We're going to be in Austin this Saturday, and then after I arrive at the location we're planning on being, I'm going to post a message to our elite members like, this is where I'm at, come hang out, and I'm not going to say where it's going to be right now, but it's a public space. For security reasons, I'm going to wait till I'm there, but that's kind of the point. And then once we have the new venue open with the third floor private club, we're in talks with government to get proper licensing for a table license so we can have Poker with the Boys, actual buy-in games. And then our elite members will be able to go in and play games. We're trying to figure out right now, depending on the legality, whether or not we do a rake or simple membership. And I'm not interested in making money off the games. I'm interested in having a club that makes money to sustain the club. So if we get a few poker tables, the one thing you'll see at big poker clubs is either a seat rental fee or a rake, which means the dealer takes money out of each pot and puts it in a bin for the company. I would probably bypass both of those things and just be like, so long as the members are paying dues, and then the table games are no rake, no rental fee. You guys play the games among yourselves. Only thing we got to do is tip the dealer. So we're trying to figure that out, though, because it might not be possible. But the idea is to make it less of a, we want to monetize you having fun with your friends, and more of a, everybody pitches in to support the structure where you can come hang out and do whatever you want. Within certain reason, obviously, no acting a fool and stuff like that. All right. Jacob says, this show only works because Serge's expert button pushing.
Huh.
That is true.
Thank you. Very true.
There are programs that have been around for a while that automatically switch, and they're just not good for shows like this. It works for like one or two people doing a stream, maybe.
Yeah,
I thought I was pretty
too
good
many
at pushing people's buttons.
I think you still are, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think I am.
All right. Ed Reeves says homeschooling has been illegal in Germany since 1919. Don't put it past the Department of Education in lockstep with the teachers union to push to make that happen here.
100%.
ChristianClassicalSchools.org. It's a homeschool kind of method, very small classes. At least check it out. I swear by it. It's absolutely the best decision I ever made for my life, my kids, anything. ChristianClassical.org.
David Red with a big super chat, and YouTube tells me to celebrate the first super chat from David Red. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
I love that name. It means beloved.
Oh, yes.
David?
It's my brother's name.
All right. He then says, send a super chat without a message, support right-wing attorneys, and help us primary rhinos. We are less than 10% of the legal profession. Seek us out and promote us. If this is not apparent to you, get out of your bubble. Well, we got to get more conservative DAs, man. Soros is funding all these DAs to win. That's part of the problem.
I should open up like a DA pack.
Yes.
That's not, I mean, like, I know how to run them, so why don't I do that?
That's a really good idea.
You know what's funny is I
Right?
talk to all these conservatives and libertarian types who are like, we know people with lots of money, or we ourselves are very wealthy, and I'm like, okay, can somebody organize something to do something? Because like y'all have the money, you're just sitting on it.
I know how to do it. That's what I need to do.
Okay,
I
Lisa's
need
going to
do that.
start a DA pack.
I'll start a DA super
to-
PAC. Yeah.
And then we will use our network and find like-minded individuals who have money to donate, and then you can have a reverse Soros, where good DAs get in to actually prosecute crime and help make people.
We should.
safer.
I should really actually do. We should really actually look into doing that. I will absolutely look into that and see how I can get it started ASAP.
I'm
That's
sure.
not a bad idea.
I'm sure like half the people who have been guests on this show would be willing to contribute.
It's not like, I mean, how many times have I made like campaign videos for other people too? Like I could whip up a Soros video for that too and get it all over Twitter.
Catherine Molina says, talk to Lauren Boebert about a conservative Colorado DA. That's a really good point. And of all the people who I think would be interested in pursuing something like that, Lauren Boebert's probably one of them.
Yeah.
All right.
I like
But it
this
was
DA
Denver,
thing.
though,
That
so.
might be my new mission.
It was Abdul Rahman was born in Denver. So I don't know who would have jurisdiction because he was in Yemen. They might say, oh, no. You know, they might say it doesn't, because he was killed in Yemen, it's Yemen. All right, what do we got? Melissa Wood says, late to the party because I was putting my kids to bed. But if you think we wouldn't bring Banana Republic tactics back home is laughable. I love the USA, but our tactics are coming home by the NSA. Yup. The thing that the U.S. has traditionally done overseas are starting to happen here. That's why some people think it's on purpose.
Yeah, seems like it.
Ray Jacobs says, Roman history is repeating itself. It's like the fall of the Roman Republic and the crisis of the 3rd century all rolled into one.
Oh, I saw a meme about this actually with it's like the fall of the Republic, but with Wi-Fi and Twitter.
But it's always at the hands of sexual revolution, just saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Degeneracy breaks out.
But also a credit crunch happened.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
It's very interesting. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button? subscribe to this channel, share this show with your friends if you do like it, because that's that's the one way that podcasts actually get bigger is when people say I like it and they tell their friends. But also go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member, and hang out in the Discord. We're going to have an uncensored members only show on the front page of timcast.com in about 10 minutes. You don't want to miss it. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me personally at Timcast. Lisa, do you want to shout anything out?
Oh, no. If you want to follow me, you can find me and all my other stuff at Lisa Elizabeth on Twitter, and it links to everything else.
You got a show people can follow?
I'm doing live streams with James Klug on his channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're clearly not doing it tonight. I was helping him with that. And then I also do like this thing for this other company, but it's Real, REEL America News on Facebook and YouTube.
The show you're doing with James, is that on James, the channel?
Yeah, that's
James
James's.
Klug? What
Yeah,
time does that go up on Tuesday?
10 o'clock. So after this, you can...
Well, our members only is 10:10.
10 Eastern. Yeah, well, it can be after that. We go, so we've been just doing them for fun, but we go for 2 hours, I guess. So,
Wow.
and, so 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and we just go and just have some fun. It's we had Vince Dow last week and Anthony Cabasa and,
Cool.
the good ones.
Right on.
I am Phil Labonte, Phil That Remains on Twitter, Phil That Remains Official on Instagram, Phil That Remains on YouTube. Give me a follow.
I'm Ian Crossland. Hi, everyone. Hello and goodbye. Have a nice evening. See you later.
And I am Serge.com. Everyone keeps telling me to get on Discord. I'm still thinking about it. For now, just argue with me on Twitter at Serge.com.
And next week, we're going to be, so this Saturday, I'm flying to Austin. And then the whole week, we're doing shows, Timcast IRL live from Austin. And then Friday is our Timcast IRL live on stage special event.
At the Vulcan.
And at the Vulcan. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. It sold out a long time ago, so I'm really excited for this. And then the next day is the Minds event at the Vulcan, so that should be a whole lot of fun as well. But for now, we are going to get that live show set up at timcast.com. So head over to the front page. Should be up in about 10 minutes, and we will see you all there.